Hello, friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. I'm actually happy to hear that she cared enough for America to keep the Karens out of the stadium. You can't fix stupid, but thank God you can keep it out of the stands. We need more like her. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with the turned on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. Here we go. This is America. My amazing wife bought a pogo pass for the family. This allows our family of 5, sometimes 7, to go to many events on the cheap. Last night we saw the Rattlers play against the IFL's newest team, the Frisco Fighters. Great game. One that a certain couple didn't get to see thanks to some, presumably, malicious compliance on behalf of the ticket scanner. We were waiting in line, waiting for our tickets to scan. Noticed a couple in front of us getting very fidgety with their middle school twins, yelling at them to put up the tickets on their phone. They made it a race, as if everything was a competition to these girls. Twin 2 wins, lost that bet with my wife, just in time to get scanned. All that, and the man scanning didn't just take his magic wand and scan their phone, just looked and nodded them through, about ready to move on to us. But alas, it was not to be. Mom starts tripping balls, telling the young ticket scanner, "But you didn't scan us." Guy replies, "Ma'am, you're good to go." He then turns back to us to scan our tickets that were also readied by our kid, saying as he makes eye contact with us, he then turns back to us to scan our tickets that were also readied by our kid, saying as he makes eye contact with us, "Hey man, some people don't get it. If I say you're good to go, you are. Got no problem with me, you're problem free." He said it so rhythmically that nothing I could write could do it justice, just how melodically he almost sang this utterance, like a catchphrase. All of a sudden, the lady shouts while whispering, probably because security's right there, "This is America! For all of our safety, I demand you scan each of our tickets." Enter MC by the young ticket scanner, YTS, as he tells us with his eyes more than anything. Watch this. He takes the scanner, asks the crazy, "This is America lady, are you sure?" "Positive. You know that..." She was about to ramble on when the ticket suddenly made a weird noise, the noise of rejection. YTS says in an overly emphatic, sad voice, "Ma'am, I'm so sorry. I hate to be the one to tell you this, but this ticket is for our next home game. See the date?" Crazy lady replies, "You gotta be kidding me." And she turned to her disappointed-looking family and disappeared into a crowd of people I could care less about. YTS turns to me and says, to my wife most likely, and kind of to his co-workers and the general public, "I saw that date, saw that different helmet color. I tried to help him out, man. No one wants to listen. No one cooperating." Smiling all the way. Shrugs in unison. Nice to see MC secondhand. And our second story. No pizza for you. Background: I used to work as a pizza delivery driver. We used to have this family who was a regular customer that was just the most vile, horrible people ever. The absolute worst delivery to get stuck with out of the whole area. Every delivery ended badly, regardless of who answered the door. Everyone at the store I worked at was just waiting for them to finally do something that would let us ban them forever. Anyways, I get a delivery to their house. I show up, knock on the door, and wait for them to answer. Kid finally answers the door, followed by a second kid who has 2 handfuls of coins. It was ridiculous. The pile he was carrying was so extensive that if you added 1 more coin to it, it probably would have fallen to the floor. I announce the total load and look at the kid. Kid looks me right in the eyes, holds out his hands, and opens them. All the coins fall to the ground, bouncing and rolling around. Some of them fell in between the boards of the porch, completely inaccessible. I was livid. Now I have to crawl around under the porch to get change? Well, maybe if I count it, I'll just eat the difference. Maybe. Then it hit me. I look back at the kid, "You're $2 short." Got back in my truck and went back to the store. And our next story. John doesn't work here. You know what? Talk to the modem. The year was 1997, and I'm an electronics tech for a tech company that's experimenting with video over phone lines. We had a company, Siemens phone system, that our engineers were not allowed to touch when experimenting with phone transmission systems, so I had several different phone lines installed in our electronics lab. a couple of standard landlines, and an ADSL system that could be broken into 2 different analog phone lines. We were experimenting with standard modems and analog channel bonding of modems, so I had several types of modems scattered around my lab, including my favorite, the US Robotics Courier 56K. I also had a couple of standard telephones to plug into these lines to use along with my other troubleshooting equipment. The ADSL lines were installed on Friday, and I connected them to a small ADSL gateway the following Monday and plugged in my phones. I called one phone from the other and verified that the lines were active and operating. Sweet. Later that afternoon, while working on my computer, one of the phone lines started ringing. I ignored it at first, but it kept ringing. See, these phone lines were just for laboratory use. They were not listed anywhere. At this point, I was the only person in our company who knew the number for these phone lines. There was no reason for anyone to call these numbers, except a wrong number. So out of curiosity and politeness, I answered the phone to tell the person calling they had the wrong number. Hi, you've called the company name Electronics Lab and you have the wrong number. Caller. Yeah, let me talk to John. Me. I'm sorry, sir, you've called the wrong number. John doesn't work here. Caller. Does John know you're effing him around like this? Get John on the phone now, or I'll have you fired. Me. Sir, this phone line was just installed at Company Names Communications Lab. No one by the name of John works here. You have the wrong number. Caller. No, this is John's direct line at company I've never heard of. Get him on the phone now. I'm already tired of this, so I finish with me. Sorry, you've got the wrong number, and I hang up. And the phone starts ringing again. So I unplug it, and I ignore it. 2 weeks later, I'm running tests on a video system over regular landlines and then switch over to our digital lines to test for differences. The first difference I get is that on occasion the system doesn't connect. I look up the system logs and see a modem error that the system's answering but no data's being sent. Weird. I plug in my phone, check it, and it seems okay. After lunch, I'm writing up the error and the phone starts to ring. Honestly, at this point, I haven't made the connection. This is company name Communications Lab. Caller. Finally, let me speak to John, please. And the shoe dropped. It's the same guy from 2 weeks earlier. You again? Didn't I tell you last time we talked that this was the communications laboratory for company name? John doesn't work here. Our company installed new phone lines, and apparently the phone company gave us his old number. You need to stop calling us. Caller. I'm really effing tired of you guys protecting John. We both know that he's there and dodging my calls because he doesn't want to pay me back. Get him on the phone now, or I'll come down there and kick your butt myself. Me. Well, that sounds like a great idea, sir. You just come on down here and kick my butt, because I love a good butt kicking. You actually should go give John a visit, because maybe you'll figure this out for yourself. But I doubt it, because you're an idiot. I hang up. The phone starts ringing. I unplugged it, then I sighed and started thinking. And I got an interesting idea. I programmed the modem to auto-answer and auto-handshake, and then I connected it to the phone line. It wasn't connected to a computer. The only thing the modem would do is answer the phone and attempt to handshake. If the handshake was successful, well, that was it. The modem wouldn't do anything else. As soon as the modem was plugged in, the incoming line rang. I could see the incoming call on the modem lights and hear the relays click. Then the audio kicked in, and I could hear the attempted handshake tones. The caller hung up almost immediately. I could almost imagine him thinking, did I dial that wrong? And then the modem had another incoming phone call, and it answered again. Almost immediately, the caller hung up again. I got bored with this and turned off the local audio on the modem and got back to other projects I was working on. Throughout the next several days, from time to time, I'd hear the USR modem relays clicking. When I glanced over at it, I could see the lights flicker as the modem tried again to handshake with someone looking for John. The caller called back less and less often. After a couple of months, the modem would engage maybe once every 2 weeks. Whenever I wasn't testing equipment, I kept that modem on the line for the next 2 years. After that time, we didn't need ADSL at our lab anymore, and we returned the lines back to the phone company. But until that happened, every now and then, the modem would still attempt to answer an incoming call. The caller never showed up to kick my butt. And our last story. The president spent $30K without a vote and landscaped private yards. I'm in an HOA and I'm on the board. The president calls me to confirm CC&R rules all the time. I have it all but memorized, and I'll quote the rules and then say, but if unsure, please consult a lawyer. Lately, he just does things without asking if the rules allow it or the board voting. For example, he spent 70% of our HOA reserves on a single aesthetic thing that affects all of us without asking anyone, and then argued with me about having the right to make these decisions because he's president. I told him this was not the case. His job is to implement board decisions and sign checks. After telling him this, he went and did landscaping on a resident's private property in front of their house. He truly seems delusional and out of his mind. I told the neighbor to call the police while he was doing the work in her yard because she asked him to leave and he refused, even have a large truck come through her yard to do this work and tore up the grass to mud. He's frightened 2 board members off so far, but I'm holding my ground. I have an appointment with our HOA attorney tomorrow, but the receptionist got rude with me because the president hasn't signed the checks or paid the retainer to the attorney for over a year. She said, "This isn't your or your HOA's lawyer. This consult would be $300 an hour." I'm scared and looking to move because of these erratic actions, but I also don't want to take steps to fix this mess so my neighbors don't suffer. I know we, the community or the board, can vote him out, but I want to hold him personally liable for this willful ignoring of the rules. Update. Talked with attorney, so we removed him quickly. Spending $30,000 without permission is also a good way to get convicted of embezzlement or similar, but that's going to depend on the details. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.